Hello everyone. I know many of you use these videos to fall asleep, so before you drift off, I thought it would be fun if everyone left a comment letting me know where in the world you're listening from. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Now, relax, unwind, and let's begin. Embark on a captivating journey back to the year 1867 aboard the legendary ship Sanctissima Esperanza, a vessel that has become synonymous with adventure and exploration. This remarkable expedition is led by the intrepid Captain Gasp de Mendoza, a seasoned navigator known for his daring exploits on the high seas, and his young protege, Eduardo Montoya, an eager explorer with dreams of uncovering the world's secrets. Together, they set sail into the unknown, driven by tales of the mysterious Isla de Cienlavis, a fabled island rumored to be the resting place of untold treasures. The allure of treasure hunting has captivated the hearts and minds of adventurers for centuries, and this journey is no exception. As the Sanctissima Esperanza cuts through the waves, the crew is filled with anticipation, fueled by the promise of discovery and the thrill of the hunt. The historical context of this era adds depth to their quest. The mid-19th century was a time of exploration and imperial ambition, where the oceans were still largely uncharted, and the promise of riches lured many into perilous waters. Isla de Cienlavis, shrouded in mystery and legend, beckons them with whispers of gold and jewels hidden away by pirates long ago. The island's very name evokes images of adventure, danger, and the possibility of striking it rich. As they navigate treacherous seas and face the challenges of the elements, Captain de Mendoza's leadership and Eduardo's youthful enthusiasm become crucial to their success. The crew must rely on their skills, courage, and camaraderie as they encounter storms, navigate uncharted territories, and confront the unknown. Each wave that crashes against the hull of the Sanctissima Esperanza brings them closer to their destination, but also closer to the dangers that lie ahead. The quest for hidden treasure is not merely about wealth. It is a journey of self-discovery, bravery, and the pursuit of dreams. As they draw nearer to Isla de Cienlavis, the crew's excitement builds, and the air is thick with anticipation. What secrets does the island hold? What challenges will they face upon arrival? The thrill of the unknown propels them forward, and the promise of adventure is palpable. The historical backdrop of the 19th century, marked by exploration and the quest for riches, serves to heighten the stakes of their journey. Treasure hunting during this time was fraught with peril, as many adventurers met their fate in pursuit of fortune. Yet, it is this very danger that makes the quest all the more enticing. The allure of treasure is not just about material wealth. It is about the stories, the legends, and the history that accompany it. As Captain de Mendoza and Eduardo Montoya lead their crew into the heart of the adventure, they are not just seeking gold, they are seeking a connection to the past, a chance to become part of the rich tapestry of maritime history. The Sanctissima Esperanza becomes a vessel of dreams, carrying them toward a destiny intertwined with the legends of the sea. The journey is as much about the bonds formed among the crew as it is about the treasure itself. Each member of the crew brings their own skills and stories, contributing to the collective experience of the expedition. The camaraderie forged in the face of adversity is a testament to the human spirit and the desire to explore the unknown. As they approach Isla de Cienlavis, the excitement reaches a fever pitch. The island looms on the horizon, a silhouette against the setting sun, promising adventure and mystery. What lies beneath its lush canopy? What treasures have been hidden away, waiting for the right adventurers to uncover them? The quest for hidden treasure is a timeless tale, one that resonates with the dreams of explorers throughout history. Captain de Mendoza and Eduardo Montoya embody the spirit of adventure, reminding us that the pursuit of knowledge and discovery is a journey worth taking. As they prepare to anchor off the shores of Isla de Cienlavis, the crew stands ready to face whatever challenges await them. The allure of treasure hunting, steeped in history and adventure, beckons them forward, and the Sanctissima Esperanza sails into the annals of exploration, ready to write its own chapter in the grand saga of the sea. As dawn broke over the harbor of San Cristobal, a serene morning atmosphere enveloped the scene, casting a golden hue across the tranquil waters. The sun began its ascent, illuminating the sails of the Sanctissima Esperanza, one of the last great sailing vessels of its time. The gentle lapping of waves against the hull created a soothing soundtrack, harmonizing with the distant calls of seabirds soaring overhead. The air was crisp and fresh, filled with the scent of salt and adventure, as the crew busied themselves with preparations for the journey ahead. The significance of the Sanctissima Esperanza was not lost on those who gathered at the harbor. This majestic ship, with its towering masts and billowing sails, represented a bygone era of exploration and maritime prowess. As one of the last great sailing vessels, it stood as a testament to the craftsmanship and spirit of adventure that defined the age of sail. The crew, a diverse group of seasoned sailors and eager young men, understood the weight of their undertaking. They were not merely embarking on a voyage, they were stepping into the annals of history, carrying with them the legacy of countless explorers who had come before them. As the crew moved about the deck, their excitement was palpable. Each member had a role to play, and the camaraderie among them was evident as they exchanged banter and laughter while preparing the ship for departure. The sound of ropes being coiled and sails being unfurled filled the air, creating a symphony of activity that matched the rising sun. Captain Gasp de Mendoza, a figure of authority and experience, oversaw the preparations with a keen eye, ensuring that every detail was attended to. His presence inspired confidence in the crew, who looked to him for guidance as they prepared to set sail into the unknown. Young Eduardo Montoya, the ship's enthusiastic explorer, felt a surge of anticipation coursing through him. This was not just another day. It was the beginning of an adventure that would take him far beyond the familiar shores of San Cristobal. He could hardly contain his excitement as he helped secure the last of the supplies, his mind racing with thoughts of the treasures that awaited them on Isla de Cienlavis. The thrill of the unknown beckoned him, and he was eager to prove himself as a capable explorer under the watchful eye of Captain de Mendoza. As the final preparations were made, the crew gathered on deck, their faces illuminated by the morning sun. The captain addressed them, his voice steady and inspiring. He spoke of the journey ahead, the challenges they would face, and the treasures they sought. His words ignited a fire within the crew, fueling their determination and sense of purpose. They were not just embarking on a voyage, they were part of something greater, a quest that would test their mettle and forge lasting bonds among them. With the ship fully prepared, the time for departure drew near. The crew took their positions, ready to hoist the sails and set course for adventure. As the anchor was raised, a collective sense of exhilaration washed over them. The Sanctissima Esperanza began to glide away from the harbor, leaving behind the familiar sights and sounds of San Cristobal. The gentle breeze filled the sails, propelling them forward into the open sea, where endless possibilities awaited. As they sailed away, the crew turned to gaze back at the harbor, a mix of nostalgia and excitement in their hearts. They were leaving behind the comforts of home, but the promise of adventure and discovery lay ahead. The ship's boom cut through the waves, and the sound of the water rushing past became a melody of freedom. Each sailor felt a sense of pride in being part of this historic journey, knowing that they were aboard one of the last great sailing vessels, a ship that would carry their dreams across the vast ocean. The horizon stretched before them, a canvas of endless blue, and the crew's spirit soared with the wind. They were united in their purpose, driven by the thrill of exploration and the allure of hidden treasures. The anticipation of what lay ahead filled the air with an electric energy, and laughter echoed across the deck as they shared stories and dreams of the adventures to come. As the Sanctissima Esperanza sailed further from the harbor, the crew embraced the unknown with open hearts. They were adventurers, explorers, and dreamers, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them on their quest for treasure. The serene morning atmosphere of San Cristobal faded into the distance, replaced by the promise of adventure and the thrill of the open sea. With each passing wave, they moved closer to their destiny, united by their shared dreams and the spirit of exploration that defined their journey aboard the legendary Sanctissima Esperanza. Captain Gasp de Mendoza stood as a towering figure among the ranks of explorers in the Caribbean, a charismatic leader whose reputation preceded him wherever he sailed. Known for his learned demeanor and extensive knowledge of the seas, he had earned the respect of both his peers and the crew that served under him. His name was synonymous with adventure, and tales of his exploits had become the stuff of legend, whispered among sailors and merchants alike. With a keen intellect and a passion for exploration, Captain de Mendoza was not just a captain. He was a scholar of the sea, a man who understood the intricate dance of tides and currents that governed the waters he traversed. Physically, Captain de Mendoza was an imposing presence. He stood tall and broad-shouldered, his posture exuding confidence and authority. His sun-kissed skin bore the marks of years spent under the Caribbean sun, and his weathered hands told stories of countless voyages. His hair, a cascade of dark waves flecked with silver, framed a face that was both rugged and refined. Deep-set eyes, the color of stormy seas, sparkled with intelligence and mischief, hinting at the adventurous spirit that lay within. He often wore a well-tailored naval coat, adorned with insignias that spoke of his rank and achievements, yet he preferred practicality over ostentation, favoring sturdy boots and trousers that allowed him to move freely aboard his ship. What set Captain de Mendoza apart was not just his appearance, but his profound understanding of the ocean. He possessed an encyclopedic knowledge of tides, currents, and celestial navigation, which he had honed through years of experience. He could read the sea like an open book, predicting changes in weather and tides with uncanny accuracy. This expertise made him a sought-after figure among those who wished to explore the Caribbean's uncharted territories. His ability to navigate treacherous waters and find safe passage through storms earned him the admiration of fellow captains and the loyalty of his crew. They knew that under his command they were in capable hands, and this trust was a cornerstone of their collective spirit. Captain de Mendoza's adventurous spirit was infectious, igniting a fire within the hearts of those who sailed with him. He was not merely a captain who issued orders from the quarterdeck. He was a leader who led by example, often joining his crew in the rigging or at the helm. His laughter echoed across the deck, a sound that lifted the spirits of his men even in the face of adversity. He had an uncanny ability to inspire confidence, encouraging his crew to embrace the unknown and face challenges head-on. His stories of past adventures, filled with danger and discovery, captivated the imaginations of young sailors and seasoned mariners alike, fostering a sense of camaraderie that bound them together as a family. The respect he commanded among his crew was palpable. They looked up to him not only for his knowledge and experience, but also for his unwavering integrity and fairness. Captain de Mendoza believed in the strength of teamwork, often emphasizing that every member of the crew played a vital role in the success of their voyages. He listened to their ideas and concerns, valuing their input and fostering an environment where everyone felt empowered to contribute. This approach cultivated loyalty and dedication, and his crew would follow him into the fiercest storms without hesitation, knowing that their captain would always have their backs. As the Sanctissima Esperanza prepared to set sail, the crew gathered around Captain de Mendoza, their eyes filled with anticipation. He stood at the helm, surveying the horizon with a mixture of determination and excitement. The promise of adventure lay ahead, and he could feel the energy of his crew surging around him. With a commanding presence, he addressed them, his voice steady and inspiring. He spoke of the journey they were about to undertake, the challenges they would face, and the treasures that awaited them on Isla de Cien Lavis. His words resonated deeply, igniting a sense of purpose and adventure within each sailor. In that moment, it was clear that Captain Gasp de Mendoza was more than just a captain. He was a beacon of hope and inspiration. His charisma and leadership would guide them through the trials of the sea, and his adventurous spirit would fuel their quest for discovery. As the sails unfurled and the ship began to glide away from the harbor, the crew felt a surge of excitement, knowing they were embarking on a journey led by a man who embodied the very essence of exploration. With Captain de Mendoza at the helm, they were ready to face whatever the ocean had in store, united by their shared dreams and the promise of adventure that lay ahead. The Isla de Cien Lavis, often referred to as the Island of 100 Keys, is steeped in legends that have captivated the imaginations of adventurers and treasure seekers for generations. Nestled within the azure waters of the Caribbean, this enigmatic island is said to hold secrets that could change the fate of those brave enough to uncover them. Among the most enduring tales is that of an Aztec prince who, in a desperate bid to protect his people's wealth from invading forces, concealed a vast treasure deep within the island's lush jungles. According to the legend, the prince, known for his cunning and bravery, gathered gold, jewels, and sacred artifacts, creating a hidden cache that would remain undiscovered for centuries. As the story goes, the prince entrusted the location of this treasure to a select few, marking the entrance to the hidden vault with a series of intricate symbols and keys. Each key, it is said, corresponds to a different aspect of the island, from its natural features to the celestial bodies that illuminate the night sky. The island itself became a living puzzle, with its dense foliage and rugged terrain concealing the paths that would lead to the treasure. Over time, the tales of the Aztec prince and his hidden wealth transformed Isla de Cien Lavis into a beacon for treasure hunters, each hoping to unlock the secrets that lay within its depths. However, the allure of the treasure is matched only by the dangers that surround the island. The crew of the Sanctissima Esperanza, led by Captain Gasp de Mendoza, understood that their quest would not be without peril. The legends spoke of treacherous waters that encircled the island, where fierce currents and sudden storms could easily capsize an unprepared vessel. Many had attempted to reach Isla de Cien Leves, only to be thwarted by the very elements that protected its secrets. The crew knew that navigating these waters would require not only skill, but also a deep respect for the power of nature. Once ashore, the challenges would only multiply. The island's interior was rumored to be a labyrinth of dense jungles, filled with exotic wildlife and hidden dangers. Stories of venomous snakes, predatory beasts, and treacherous terrain circulated among sailors, warning of the perils that awaited those who dared to venture too far from the safety of the shore. The crew would need to rely on their instincts and teamwork to navigate the island's challenges, forging paths through the underbrush and overcoming obstacles that could easily lead to disaster. Moreover, the legends hinted at supernatural elements that might guard the treasure. Whispers of ancient spirits and protective deities filled the air, suggesting that the Aztec prince had not only hidden his wealth, but had also placed curses upon it to deter would-be thieves. The crew could not ignore the tales of those who had ventured to Isla de Cien Leves, only to return empty-handed, or, worse, never return at all. These stories served as a reminder of the stakes involved in their quest, heightening the sense of intrigue and danger that surrounded the island. As the Sanctissima Esperanza approached the shores of Isla de Cien Leves, the crew felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. The island loomed ahead, its silhouette framed against the vibrant sky, a tantalizing promise of adventure and discovery. Yet the uncharted nature of the island added an air of mystery that was both thrilling and daunting. What secrets lay hidden beneath the thick canopy of trees? What challenges awaited them in the depths of the jungle? The crew exchanged glances, each man aware that they were on the brink of something extraordinary, yet uncertain of what lay ahead. The island's reputation as a place of mystery only fueled their determination. The tales of the Aztec prince and his hidden treasure were not merely stories. They were a call to adventure, a challenge to those willing to brave the unknown. The crew of the Sanctissima Esperanza was ready to embrace the thrill of the hunt, driven by the promise of riches and the allure of uncovering the island's secrets. They understood that the journey would test their limits, but the potential rewards were too great to ignore. As they prepared to disembark, the crew gathered on deck, their hearts racing with anticipation. Captain de Mendoza, sensing their excitement, reminded them of the importance of caution and teamwork. He spoke of the legends that surrounded Isla de Cien Leves, urging them to respect the island and its mysteries. With each word, he instilled a sense of purpose and unity among them, reinforcing the idea that they were not just seeking treasure, they were embarking on a journey that would challenge their very souls. With the ship anchored and the crew ready, the time had come to step onto the shores of Isla de Cien Leves. As they set foot on the sandy beach, the weight of the legends hung in the air, a palpable reminder of the adventure that awaited them. The island, with its lush greenery and hidden paths, beckoned them forward, promising both danger and discovery. The crew knew that they were about to unlock the secrets of the island of 100 keys, and with each step, they moved closer to the heart of the legend that had drawn them to this mysterious place. Aboard the Sanctissima Esperanza, a vibrant tapestry of personalities and skills came together to form a diverse crew, each member contributing to the expedition's ambitious quest for treasure on the mysterious Isla de Cien Leves. This eclectic mix of sailors, adventurers, and craftsmen reflected the multicultural nature of the Caribbean, where different cultures and backgrounds intertwined to create a unique maritime community. Among them were key characters whose stories and talents would play pivotal roles in the journey ahead. At the heart of the crew was young Miguel, the cabin boy, whose youthful enthusiasm and boundless energy brought a spark of life to the ship. Barely 15, Miguel had joined the crew after dreaming of adventure on the high seas since childhood. His wide eyes and infectious smile belied a fierce determination to prove himself among seasoned sailors. Though he was often tasked with menial chores, Miguel approached each duty with a sense of pride and eagerness, always ready to lend a hand wherever needed. His quick learning and adaptability made him a favorite among the crew, who saw in him the potential for greatness. Miguel's youthful spirit served as a reminder of the dreams that had brought them all together, and his unwavering optimism helped to lift the crew's morale during challenging times. Another key figure aboard the Sanctissima Esperanza was Jean-Baptiste Lacroix, the ship's cartographer. Hailing from France, Lacroix was a man of meticulous detail and artistic flair, known for his ability to create intricate maps that captured not only the geography of the lands he explored, but also the stories and legends that accompanied them. His passion for cartography was evident in the way he meticulously plotted their course to Isla de Cien Laves, ensuring that every detail was accounted for. Lacroix's maps were not just tools for navigation. They were works of art that reflected his deep appreciation for the world around him. His knowledge of the stars and currents was invaluable, and he often shared his insights with the crew, teaching them how to read the skies and understand the rhythms of the sea. The camaraderie among the crew was palpable, forged through shared experiences and a common goal. Each member brought unique skills to the expedition, creating a harmonious blend of talents that would be essential for their success. The ship's cook, a burly man named Thomas, was known for his hearty meals that kept the crew fueled and ready for the challenges ahead. His culinary skills were legendary, and he often incorporated spices and flavors from his native Caribbean heritage, creating dishes that not only nourished but also brought a taste of home to the crew. Tomas's laughter and jovial spirit made him a beloved figure aboard the ship, and his ability to lift spirits during long days at sea was invaluable. The crew also included seasoned sailors from various backgrounds, each with their own stories of adventure and hardship. There was Raoul, a weathered fisherman from the coastal towns of Spain, whose knowledge of the sea was unparalleled. His ability to read the winds and tides made him an essential asset during navigation, and his tales of past voyages captivated the younger crew members. Then there was Amina, a skilled navigator from the islands of the Caribbean, whose expertise in celestial navigation was unmatched. Her calm demeanor and sharp instincts earned her the respect of her fellow sailors, and she often took the lead during night watches, guiding the ship through the darkness with confidence. The multicultural aspect of the crew was a source of strength, as each member brought their own traditions, languages, and perspectives to the ship. They shared stories of their homelands during evening gatherings, exchanging laughter and camaraderie over meals prepared by Tomas. This melting pot of cultures fostered a sense of unity as they learned from one another and celebrated their differences. The crew understood that their shared goal of uncovering the treasures of Isla de Cien Laves transcended their individual backgrounds. They were bound together by a common purpose and a thirst for adventure. As the Sanctissima Esperanza sailed toward the horizon, the crew worked seamlessly together, each member playing a vital role in the expedition. Miguel scurried about, assisting wherever he could, while Lacroix meticulously plotted their course, ensuring they stayed on track. Raoul and Amina collaborated on navigation, their combined knowledge guiding the ship through the ever-changing waters. The laughter and camaraderie that filled the air were a testament to the bonds they had formed, and the crew felt a sense of pride in their collective efforts. With each passing day, the crew grew closer, united by their shared dreams and the challenges they faced together. They understood that the journey to Isla de Cien Lavas would test their limits, but they were ready to confront whatever lay ahead. The diverse backgrounds and skills of the crew were not just an asset, they were the very essence of their expedition. As they sailed toward the unknown, the Sanctissima Esperanza became more than just a ship. It was a vessel of dreams, carrying a multicultural crew bound by adventure, camaraderie, and the promise of discovery. Together, they would unlock the secrets of the island of 100 keys, forging a legacy that would echo through the annals of maritime history. As the Sanctissima Esperanza sailed deeper into the uncharted waters surrounding Isla de Cien Lavas, the crew found themselves navigating a realm where the familiar rules of the sea seemed to bend and twist. The vast expanse of ocean stretched endlessly before them, a shimmering blue canvas that concealed both beauty and peril. With each passing day, the crew faced a series of challenges that tested their skills, resolve, and camaraderie. One of the most immediate challenges was the strange currents that snaked through the waters. Unlike the predictable tides they were accustomed to, these currents seemed to have a mind of their own, swirling and shifting unexpectedly. Captain Gasp de Mendoza stood at the helm, his brow furrowed in concentration as he observed the water's surface. "These currents are unlike anything I've encountered before," he remarked, his voice steady but laced with concern. The crew exchanged uneasy glances, aware that misjudging the currents could lead them astray, or worse, into treacherous waters. Jean-Baptiste Lacroix, the ship's cartographer, was quick to respond. "We must adjust our course based on the patterns I've observed," he said, unfurling his meticulously drawn maps. His fingers traced the lines of the currents, and he began to calculate their trajectory. The crew gathered around him, eager to contribute their insights. It was moments like these that highlighted the importance of teamwork. Each member brought their unique skills to the table, and together they formed a cohesive unit capable of overcoming the challenges that lay ahead. As they adjusted their sails and altered their course, the weather began to shift ominously. Dark clouds gathered on the horizon, casting a shadow over the ship. The once calm sea transformed into a roiling expanse, waves rising and crashing with increasing ferocity. Amina, the skilled navigator, stood at the bow, her keen eyes scanning the skies. "We need to prepare for a storm," she called out, her voice rising above the howling wind. The crew sprang into action, securing loose items and reinforcing the sails, their movements a well-rehearsed dance, born of trust and familiarity. The storm hit with a ferocity that took them by surprise. Rain lashed against the deck, and the wind howled like a banshee, threatening to tear the sails from their rigging. Captain de Mendoza shouted orders, his voice cutting through the chaos as he directed the crew to brace themselves against the onslaught. Miguel, the young cabin boy, clung to the railing, his heart racing with a mix of fear and exhilaration. This was the adventure he had longed for, but the reality of the storm was far more intense than he had imagined. As the crew battled the elements, their navigation skills became paramount. Amina and Lacroix worked closely together, using the stars that occasionally peeked through the clouds to maintain their bearings. "Trust your instincts," Amina urged, her voice steady, despite the chaos around them. "We've trained for this. We can weather the storm." The crew rallied around her words, drawing strength from their shared commitment to one another and their mission. Yet as they fought against the storm, an unsettling tension hung in the air. The legends surrounding Isla de Cien Laves whispered of dangers that lurked beyond the horizon, and the crew couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Strange phenomena began to occur. Flashes of light danced across the water, and eerie sounds echoed through the night, sending shivers down their spines. The crew exchanged wary glances, their minds racing with thoughts of what lay ahead. Were these mere figments of their imagination, or were they signs of the island's protective spirits, warning them to turn back? As the storm began to subside, the crew emerged from the chaos, drenched but resolute. They had weathered the worst of it, but the experience had left them shaken. Captain de Mendoza gathered the crew on deck, his expression serious. "We've faced our first test, and we've come through it together," he said, his voice steady. "But we must remain vigilant. The waters around Isla de Cien Laves are unpredictable, and we cannot afford to let our guard down." With each passing day, the crew grew closer, united by their shared dreams and the challenges they faced together. They understood that the journey to Isla de Cien Laves would test their limits, but they were ready to confront whatever lay ahead. The diverse backgrounds and skills of the crew were not just an asset, they were the very essence of their expedition. As they sailed toward the unknown, the Sanctissima Esperanza became more than just a ship. It was a vessel of dreams, carrying a multicultural crew bound by adventure, camaraderie, and the promise of discovery. Together, they would unlock the secrets of the island of 100 keys, forging a legacy that would echo through the annals of maritime history. As the Sanctissima Esperanza sailed deeper into the uncharted waters surrounding Isla de Cien Laves, the crew found themselves navigating a realm where the familiar rules of the sea seemed to bend and twist. The vast expanse of ocean stretched endlessly before them, a shimmering blue canvas that concealed both beauty and peril. With each passing day, the crew faced a series of challenges that tested their skills, resolve, and camaraderie. One of the most immediate challenges was the strange currents that snaked through the waters. Unlike the predictable tides they were accustomed to, these currents seemed to have a mind of their own, swirling and shifting unexpectedly. Captain Gasp de Mendoza stood at the helm, his brow furrowed in concentration as he observed the water's surface. "These currents are unlike anything I've encountered before," he remarked, his voice steady but laced with concern. The crew exchanged uneasy glances, aware that misjudging the currents could lead them astray, or worse, into treacherous waters. Jean-Baptiste Lacroix, the ship's cartographer, was quick to respond. "We must adjust our course based on the patterns I've observed," he said, unfurling his meticulously drawn maps. His fingers traced the lines of the currents, and he began to calculate their trajectory. The crew gathered around him, eager to contribute their insights. It was moments like these that highlighted the importance of teamwork. Each member brought their unique skills to the table, and together they formed a cohesive unit capable of overcoming the challenges that lay ahead. As they adjusted their sails and altered their course, the weather began to shift ominously. Dark clouds gathered on the horizon, casting a shadow over the ship. The once calm sea transformed into a roiling expanse, waves rising and crashing with increasing ferocity. Amina, the skilled navigator, stood at the bow, her keen eyes scanning the skies. "We need to prepare for a storm," she called out, her voice rising above the howling wind. The crew sprang into action, securing loose items and reinforcing the sails, their movements a well-rehearsed dance, born of trust and familiarity. The storm hit with a ferocity that took them by surprise. Rain lashed against the deck, and the wind howled like a banshee, threatening to tear the sails from their rigging. Captain de Mendoza shouted orders, his voice cutting through the chaos as he directed the crew to brace themselves against the onslaught. Miguel, the young cabin boy, clung to the railing, his heart racing with a mix of fear and exhilaration. This was the adventure he had longed for, but the reality of the storm was far more intense than he had imagined. As the crew battled the elements, their navigation skills became paramount. Amina and Lacroix worked closely together, using the stars that occasionally peeked through the clouds to maintain their bearings. "Trust your instincts," Amina urged, her voice steady, despite the chaos around them. "We've trained for this. We can weather the storm." The crew rallied around her words, drawing strength from their shared commitment to one another and their mission. Yet as they fought against the storm, an unsettling tension hung in the air. The legends surrounding Isla de Cien Llaves whispered of dangers that lurked beyond the horizon, and the crew couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Strange phenomena began to occur. Flashes of light danced across the water, and eerie sounds echoed through the night, sending shivers down their spines. The crew exchanged wary glances, their minds racing with thoughts of what lay ahead. Were these mere figments of their imagination, or were they signs of the island's protective spirits, warning them to turn back? As the storm began to subside, the crew emerged from the chaos, drenched but resolute. They had weathered the worst of it, but the experience had left them shaken. Captain de Mendoza gathered the crew on deck, his expression serious. "We've faced our first test, and we've come through it together," he said, his voice steady. "But we must remain vigilant. The waters around Isla de Cien Llaves are unpredictable, and we cannot afford to let our guard down." As they continued to explore the Santa Regina, the atmosphere grew increasingly oppressive. The shadows seemed to deepen, and the air grew colder, wrapping around them like a shroud. Miguel, who had been filled with excitement moments before, now felt a knot of dread tightening in his stomach. He could hear whispers in the wind, faint and indistinct, as if the ship itself was trying to communicate. "We should leave," he whispered to Lacroix, his voice trembling. "This place feels wrong." But before they could make their way back to the Sanctissima Esperanza, a sudden gust of wind swept through the ship, slamming a door shut behind them with a resounding bang. The crew jumped, their hearts racing as they turned to face the darkness that loomed ahead. The feeling of being watched intensified, and they could almost sense the presence of the ship's lost souls, trapped in a limbo between worlds. The crew huddled together, their instincts screaming that they were not alone. Captain de Mendoza, sensing the rising tension, gathered the crew. "We must remain vigilant, he urged, his voice steady despite the fear that gripped them. "The logbook warns us of dangers we cannot see. We must leave this place and return to our ship." The crew nodded, their resolve strengthened by the captain's leadership. They quickly retraced their steps, the oppressive atmosphere weighing heavily on them as they made their way back to the deck. As they stepped off the ghost ship and onto the Sanctissima Esperanza, a collective sigh of relief washed over them, but the sense of foreboding lingered, a reminder of the dangers that lay ahead. The crew gathered on deck, their faces pale and drawn as they shared their experiences. The logbook's warnings echoed in their minds, and they understood that the ocean was not merely a vast expanse of water. It was a realm filled with mysteries and dangers that could ensnare the unwary. With the Santa Regina fading into the mist behind them, the crew of the Sanctissima Esperanza felt the weight of their encounter settle upon them. They had glimpsed the unknown, and the implications of their findings loomed large. The journey to Isla de Cien Lavis was fraught with peril, and the ghost ship served as a chilling reminder of the price that could be paid for their quest. As they sailed onward, the crew steeled themselves for the challenges that lay ahead, knowing that the mysteries of the sea were far from over, and that the shadows of the past could still reach out to claim them. As the crew of the Sanctissima Esperanza set foot on the shores of Isla de Cien Lavis, the excitement of discovery quickly gave way to a palpable sense of unease. The island, with its dense jungles and towering trees, loomed before them like a living entity, its secrets hidden beneath a lush canopy. The air was thick with humidity, and the sounds of the jungle echoed around them. Chirping insects, rustling leaves, and distant animal calls created a symphony of life that was both enchanting and foreboding. Little did they know that their first encounter with the island would be a harbinger of the dangers that lay ahead. As the crew ventured deeper into the jungle, the atmosphere shifted. The vibrant colors of the flora seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy, and shadows danced in the underbrush. It was then that they heard it, a low guttural growl that reverberated through the trees, sending a chill down their spines. Before they could react, a monstrous jaguar leaped from the shadows, its sleek body moving with a grace that belied its size. The creature's eyes glinted with a predatory intelligence, and its powerful jaws were bared, revealing teeth that glistened like daggers. The attack was sudden and brutal. The jaguar lunged at the nearest crew member, its claws raking through the air with terrifying speed. Miguel, the young cabin boy, barely had time to react as the beast barreled toward him. In a moment of instinctual bravery, Raúl, the seasoned fisherman, threw himself in front of Miguel, grappling with the creature as it snarled and snapped. The crew erupted into chaos, scrambling to defend themselves against the ferocious predator. Amina, the skilled navigator, quickly grabbed a makeshift spear fashioned from a sturdy branch, her heart racing as she prepared to confront the beast. The struggle was fierce, and the jaguar fought with a primal ferocity that left the crew reeling. It was a battle of survival, and the crew quickly realized that they were not the apex predators they had believed themselves to be. The jaguar's agility and strength were overwhelming, and it became clear that they were intruders in its territory. The implications of this encounter weighed heavily on them. They were not just explorers seeking treasure. They were now prey in a wild and unpredictable environment. As the crew fought back, their teamwork and resolve shone through. Lacroix, the cartographer, used his knowledge of the terrain to guide the others, shouting directions to flank the jaguar. Tomas, the ship's cook, wielded a heavy cooking pot as a makeshift weapon, swinging it with all his might. The cacophony of shouts and the sounds of the struggle filled the air, creating a chaotic symphony of survival. Finally, with a coordinated effort, the crew managed to drive the jaguar back into the depths of the jungle, its growls fading into the distance. Breathless and shaken, the crew gathered together, their hearts pounding in their chests. The attack had left them rattled, and the reality of their situation began to sink in. They were in a land filled with dangers they had not anticipated, and the thrill of adventure was now tinged with fear. The jaguar's ferocity served as a stark reminder that the island was not merely a treasure trove waiting to be uncovered. It was a living, breathing entity that demanded respect. The impact on morale was immediate and profound. While some crew members rallied together, sharing stories of bravery and camaraderie, others were left shaken by the encounter. Miguel, who had initially been filled with excitement, now felt a deep sense of vulnerability. The jungle, once a place of wonder, had transformed into a realm of uncertainty. The crew's laughter and banter that had filled the air moments before were replaced by a heavy silence, each member lost in their thoughts. Captain de Mendoza, sensing the shift in morale, gathered the crew for a meeting. "We have faced our first challenge, and we have emerged stronger," he said, his voice steady and reassuring. "But we must remain vigilant. The island is unpredictable, and we must respect its power. Our survival depends on our ability to work together and adapt to the challenges we face." His words resonated with the crew, reminding them of their shared goal and the importance of unity in the face of adversity. As they regrouped, the theme of survival became increasingly evident. The crew understood that they were not just explorers. They were now participants in a struggle for existence in a wild and untamed land. The unpredictability of the island loomed large, and they realized that every step they took could lead to new dangers. The jaguar's attack had shattered their illusions of invincibility, forcing them to confront the reality of their situation. With the sun beginning to set, casting long shadows across the jungle floor, the crew made the decision to establish a temporary camp. They needed to regroup, tend to their wounds, and strategize their next move. As they set up their makeshift shelter, the sounds of the jungle took on a new significance. The rustling leaves and distant calls of animals now felt like a warning, a reminder that they were not alone in this wilderness. As night fell, the crew gathered around a small fire, the flickering flames casting eerie shadows on their faces. They shared their fears and hopes, each member contributing to the collective strength of the group. The jaguar's attack had forged a bond among them, a shared understanding that they were in this together. They spoke of their dreams of treasure and discovery, but the reality of survival now colored their aspirations. The night was filled with tension, the jungle alive with sounds that echoed in the darkness. The crew took turns keeping watch, their senses heightened as they listened for any signs of danger. The unpredictability of the island loomed large in their minds, and they understood that they had only scratched the surface of the challenges that awaited them. The jaguar's attack had been a wake-up call, a reminder that they were intruders in a world that demanded respect and caution. As they settled in for the night, the crew of the Sanctissima Esperanza knew that their journey had taken a turn. The thrill of adventure was now intertwined with the harsh reality of survival, and they were prepared to face whatever dangers the island had in store for them. United by their shared experiences and the bonds they had forged, they steeled themselves for the challenges ahead, ready to confront the unpredictable nature of Isla de Cien Lavas. As dawn broke over Isla de Cien Lavas, the crew of the Sanctissima Esperanza awoke to a renewed sense of purpose. The events of the previous day had left them shaken, but the promise of discovery lingered in the air like the sweet scent of blooming flowers. With the sun casting golden rays through the dense canopy, the crew set out to explore the island further, driven by the hope of uncovering its secrets. It was during this expedition that they stumbled upon a hidden clearing, a place that would change the course of their journey. In the center of the clearing lay a weathered stone altar, partially covered in vines and moss. As the crew approached, their eyes widened in astonishment. Scattered around the altar were a series of ancient keys, each one unique and intricately designed. The keys glimmered in the sunlight, their surfaces adorned with symbols and carvings that hinted at a rich history. Some were made of bronze, while others appeared to be crafted from a shimmering silver material that caught the light in mesmerizing ways. Each key was a work of art, reflecting the craftsmanship of a bygone era. Miguel, the young cabin boy, was the first to reach the altar, his heart racing with excitement. "Look at these," he exclaimed, picking up a key that was shaped like a serpent, its body coiling elegantly around the shaft. The crew gathered around, their curiosity piqued, as they examined the keys more closely. Lacroix, the ship's cartographer, noted the intricate designs and began to sketch them in his notebook. These keys must hold great significance, he mused, his eyes gleaming with intrigue. They could be connected to the legends of the island. As the crew continued to explore the clearing, they discovered more keys, each one telling its own story. One key was adorned with a sun motif, its rays radiating outward, while another featured a crescent moon, its surface etched with delicate patterns that resembled waves. There was even a key shaped like a feather, symbolizing freedom and flight. The diversity of the designs suggested that they were not merely functional objects. They were imbued with meaning, perhaps linked to the island's ancient inhabitants and their beliefs. The crew began to discuss the implications of their discovery. These keys could unlock more than just doors, Amina, the skilled navigator, suggested. They might be the key to understanding the island's mysteries. The thought sent a thrill through the group. The connection between the keys and the island's legends became increasingly apparent, and they realized that they had stumbled upon something far more significant than they had initially imagined. As they examined the keys, the crew's determination to uncover the secrets behind them grew stronger. Each member felt a sense of responsibility to honor the history of the island and its ancient inhabitants. Captain de Mendoza gathered the crew, his voice steady and filled with conviction. "We have found these keys for a reason," he said, gesturing to the altar. "They are a part of the island's story, and it is our duty to uncover what they unlock. We must work together to decipher their meaning and the mysteries they hold." The crew nodded in agreement, their spirits lifted by the captain's words. They understood that their journey was no longer just about treasure. It was about connecting with the past and unraveling the enigma of Isla de Cien Lavas. The keys represented a bridge between their present and the island's ancient history, and they were determined to explore every avenue to uncover the truth. With renewed vigor, the crew set out to investigate the surrounding area, searching for clues that might lead them to the locks the keys would open. They combed through the jungle, examining ancient trees and rock formations, hoping to find remnants of the civilization that once thrived on the island. The atmosphere was charged with excitement, and the camaraderie among the crew deepened as they shared their theories and discoveries. As they ventured deeper into the jungle, they stumbled upon a series of stone carvings etched into the rocks. The carvings depicted scenes of ancient rituals, figures holding keys, and symbols that mirrored those found on the keys themselves. The crew gathered around, their eyes wide with wonder. These carvings could provide insight into the significance of the keys, Lacroix suggested, sketching the images in his notebook. They may tell us what the keys were used for and how they relate to the island's mysteries. The connection between the keys and the island's history became increasingly clear. The crew theorized that the keys might unlock hidden chambers or sacred sites, perhaps even leading to the treasure that had drawn them to Isla de Cien Lavas in the first place. The thought of uncovering ancient secrets filled them with a sense of purpose, and they pressed on, fueled by the thrill of discovery. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the jungle, the crew gathered to discuss their findings. They laid the keys out on a makeshift table, examining each one closely. The atmosphere was electric with anticipation, and they could feel the weight of history pressing down upon them. "We must find a way to unlock the secrets of these keys," Captain de Mendoza urged. "They are our link to the past, and we cannot let this opportunity slip away." The crew's determination solidified into a shared mission. They understood that the journey ahead would be fraught with challenges, but the allure of the keys and the mysteries they represented propelled them forward. Each member of the crew felt a deep connection to the island and its history, and they were united in their quest to uncover the truth. As night fell, the jungle came alive with sounds, and the crew settled around the fire, their minds racing with possibilities. The keys had opened a door to a world of intrigue and adventure, and they were ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. With the ancient keys in their possession, the crew of the Sanctissima Esperanza felt a renewed sense of purpose, determined to unlock the secrets of Isla de Cien Lavas and honor the legacy of those who had come before them. The journey was just beginning, and the mysteries of the island awaited their discovery. As the crew of the Sanctissima Esperanza pressed deeper into the heart of Isla de Cien Lavas, their journey led them to a breathtaking discovery that would change the course of their expedition. After days of navigating the dense jungle, they stumbled upon an ancient temple, its majestic structure partially obscured by the thick foliage that had grown around it over the centuries. The sight of the temple took their breath away, a testament to the artistry and ingenuity of the civilization that once thrived on this enigmatic island. The architecture of the temple was a marvel to behold. Towering stone walls, intricately carved with symbols and figures, rose high above them, their surfaces adorned with depictions of celestial bodies, mythical creatures, and scenes of ancient rituals. The entrance was framed by two massive stone pillars, each one etched with swirling patterns that seemed to come alive in the dappled sunlight. Vines and moss clung to the stones, adding an air of mystique to the structure, as if nature itself was both protecting and reclaiming the temple. The crew stood in awe, their hearts racing with the realization that they had uncovered a sacred site, a place that held the key to the island's mysteries. As they approached the entrance, the crew noticed a series of steps leading up to a grand doorway, flanked by two colossal statues of guardian creatures. These statues, carved from the same stone as the temple, depicted fearsome jaguars, their eyes wide and fierce, as if they were eternally watching over the sacred space. The craftsmanship was exquisite, and the crew could feel the weight of history pressing down upon them. It was clear that these guardians were not merely decorative. They served a purpose, standing sentinel over the temple and its secrets. With a mix of trepidation and excitement, Captain de Mendoza led the crew up the steps, their footsteps echoing in the stillness. As they reached the entrance, they were met with an overwhelming sense of reverence. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and ancient stone, and the atmosphere felt charged with energy. The crew exchanged glances, each member aware that they were about to step into a realm that transcended time. Inside the temple, the crew was greeted by a vast chamber illuminated by shafts of light filtering through cracks in the stone. The walls were adorned with more intricate carvings, depicting scenes of worship, celestial alignments, and the guardians themselves. The symbols seemed to tell a story, one that spoke of a deep connection between the island's inhabitants and the natural world. Lacroix, the ship's cartographer, began to sketch the symbols, eager to document their findings. These carvings may hold the key to understanding the island's history, he said, his voice filled with awe. As they explored the chamber, the crew felt a sudden shift in the atmosphere. A low rumble echoed through the temple, and the ground trembled beneath their feet. From the shadows emerged the guardian creatures, not merely stone statues, but living embodiments of the jaguars that had once roamed the island. Their eyes glowed with an otherworldly light, and their powerful forms moved with a grace that belied their size. The crew stood frozen, a mix of fear and wonder coursing through them. The jaguars circled the crew, their movements fluid and deliberate. It was clear that these guardians were not there to harm them. Rather, they seemed to be assessing the intruders in their sacred space. Captain de Mendoza, sensing the need for diplomacy, stepped forward, his voice calm and respectful. "We come in peace," he declared, holding up his hands in a gesture of goodwill. "We seek knowledge and understanding of this ancient place." To the crew's astonishment, the jaguars paused, their glowing eyes locking onto the captain's. In that moment, a connection was forged, a silent understanding that transcended words. The guardians seemed to recognize the crew's intentions, their fierce demeanor softening as they settled into a watchful stance. It was as if the jaguars were guardians of not only the temple, but also the wisdom contained within its walls. The crew began to explore the temple further, emboldened by the presence of the guardians. They discovered hidden alcoves filled with artifacts, ceremonial masks, pottery, and tools that spoke of a rich cultural heritage. Each item was a piece of the puzzle, offering glimpses into the lives of the island's ancient inhabitants. The jaguars remained close, their watchful eyes following the crew's every move, ensuring that the sanctity of the temple was preserved. As they delved deeper into the temple's mysteries, the crew began to piece together the significance of the site. It was clear that the temple served as a center of knowledge and spirituality, a place where the island's inhabitants had gathered to honor their deities and seek guidance from the natural world. The carvings and artifacts spoke of a profound understanding of the cosmos, the cycles of nature, and the interconnectedness of all living things. The crew's determination to uncover the secrets of the temple intensified. They understood that this was not just an archaeological discovery. It was a chance to connect with the wisdom of the past and learn from the lessons of those who had come before them. The guardians, with their fierce yet protective presence, served as a reminder of the responsibility that came with this knowledge. The crew felt a deep sense of reverence for the temple and its guardians, recognizing that they were part of a larger narrative that spanned centuries. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the temple, the crew gathered in the central chamber, their hearts filled with gratitude and purpose. They knew that their journey was far from over, but the discovery of the ancient temple and its guardians had ignited a fire within them. They were no longer just treasure seekers. They were custodians of knowledge, tasked with honoring the legacy of the island and its people. With the jaguar standing sentinel, the crew made a pact to protect the temple and its secrets. They would document their findings, share the stories of the island's ancient inhabitants, and ensure that the wisdom of the past would not be forgotten. As they prepared to leave the temple, they felt a profound connection to the land and its history, a bond that would guide them on their quest for knowledge and understanding. The journey ahead would be filled with challenges, but the crew of the Sanctissima Esperanza was ready to face whatever lay in store. With the ancient temple as their beacon of hope and the guardians as their protectors, they set forth into the unknown, determined to uncover the mysteries of Isla de Cienlaves and honor the legacy of those who had come before them. As the crew of the Sanctissima Esperanza stood before the ancient temple, the weight of their discovery pressed heavily upon them. The intricate carvings and symbols that adorn the stone walls seemed to pulse with energy, hinting at the secrets that lay hidden within. The ancient keys they had found in the clearing now felt like pieces of a puzzle, each one imbued with purpose and significance. The crew gathered around the altar, their hearts racing with anticipation as they prepared to unlock the mysteries of the temple. Captain Gasp de Mendoza took charge, his authoritative presence instilling confidence in the crew. "We must work together," he said, gesturing to the keys laid out before them. "Each key has a unique design, and we must determine where they fit." The crew nodded, their determination palpable as they began to examine the keys closely, searching for clues that would guide them in their quest. Miguel, the young cabin boy, was the first to notice a series of engravings on the temple's entrance that mirrored the designs of the keys. "Look!" he exclaimed, pointing to a carving of a serpent that matched the key he had found. The crew gathered around, their eyes lighting up with excitement. "This must be the first key." Amina, the skilled navigator, stepped forward, her heart pounding as she carefully placed the serpent key into the corresponding slot on the temple door. As the key turned, a low rumble echoed through the chamber, and the ground beneath them trembled slightly. The crew exchanged nervous glances, the tension in the air thickening as they realized they were on the brink of something monumental. "Keep going," Lacroix urged, his voice filled with excitement. "We're close." The crew sprang into action, each member taking a key and searching for its rightful place. The teamwork displayed was remarkable. Tomas, the ship's cook, and Raoul, the seasoned fisherman, worked side by side, their hands moving deftly as they placed a key adorned with a sun motif into a slot that depicted a radiant sun on the wall. As they turned the key, a bright light burst forth from the carving, illuminating the chamber and casting flickering shadows on the walls. The crew gasped in awe, their excitement mounting as they realized they were unlocking the temple's secrets one by one. With each key that was placed, the atmosphere grew more charged. The Jaguar Guardians watched silently, their glowing eyes reflecting the crew's determination. The crew felt a connection to the ancient civilization that had once thrived here, and they understood that they were part of a larger story, one that transcended time. The anticipation of what lay ahead fueled their resolve, and they pressed on, determined to uncover the temple's mysteries. As they continued to work, the tension in the air became almost palpable. The final key, shaped like a feather, remained untouched, and the crew felt the weight of their collective hopes resting on its placement. "This is it," Captain de Mendoza said, his voice steady but filled with urgency. "We must find the right spot for the feather key." The crew searched the walls, their hearts racing as they scanned for any sign that would indicate where the key belonged. Finally, Miguel spotted a small alcove high above the entrance, adorned with a carving of a bird in flight. "There!" he shouted, pointing excitedly. "It has to go there." The crew quickly devised a plan, using a sturdy branch to boost Miguel up so he could reach the alcove. With bated breath, they watched as he carefully inserted the feather key into the slot. The moment the key turned, a deep rumble resonated through the temple, and the air crackled with energy. Suddenly, the ground shook violently, and the temple walls began to glow with an ethereal light. The crew stepped back, their eyes wide with awe and trepidation. The Jaguar Guardians remained still, their presence a reassuring reminder that they were not alone in this moment. As the light intensified, the massive stone door began to shift, grinding against the ancient stone as it slowly opened, revealing a dark passageway beyond. The crew stood in stunned silence, their hearts pounding in unison. The portal had opened, and the anticipation of what lay ahead was almost overwhelming. "We did it!" Miguel exclaimed, his voice filled with exhilaration. The crew erupted into cheers, their spirits lifted by the success of their teamwork and determination. They had unlocked the temple's secrets, and the promise of discovery lay before them. As the light from the temple spilled into the darkness of the passageway, the crew felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. What awaited them in the depths of the temple? Would they find treasures, knowledge, or perhaps something more profound? The unknown loomed ahead, and the thrill of adventure coursed through their veins. Captain de Mendoza stepped forward, his expression a blend of pride and resolve. "We've come this far together, and we will face whatever lies ahead as a team," he declared, his voice steady. The crew nodded in agreement, their camaraderie stronger than ever. They understood that the journey was not just about the treasures they sought. It was about the bonds they had forged and the knowledge they would gain. With hearts full of anticipation, the crew of the Sanctissima Esperanza stepped into the passageway, ready to uncover the secrets of the ancient temple. The darkness enveloped them, but the light of their shared purpose illuminated the path ahead. Together they ventured into the unknown, determined to embrace whatever awaited them in the depths of Isla de Cienlaves. The adventure was far from over, and the mysteries of the island beckoned them forward, promising revelations that would forever change their lives. As the crew of the Sanctissima Esperanza ventured deeper into the ancient temple, the air grew thick with anticipation. The flickering torches cast dancing shadows on the stone walls, illuminating intricate carvings that told stories of a civilization long past. The passageway opened into a vast chamber, and as they stepped inside, the crew was met with a sight that took their breath away. The room was filled with ancient scrolls, artifacts, and relics, each one a testament to the rich history and culture of the island's original inhabitants. At the center of the chamber stood a large stone pedestal, upon which rested a collection of scrolls, their edges frayed and yellowed with age. Lacroix, the ship's cartographer, approached the pedestal with reverence, his heart racing at the thought of what knowledge these scrolls might contain. "These could be invaluable," he murmured, carefully unrolling one of the scrolls to reveal intricate illustrations and symbols. The crew gathered around, their eyes wide with wonder as they took in the delicate artistry and the meticulous detail of the drawings. The scrolls depicted various aspects of the island's culture, rituals, celestial alignments, and the interconnectedness of nature and spirituality. They illustrated the ancient inhabitants' deep understanding of the cosmos, their reverence for the earth, and their belief in the balance of life. Each scroll was a window into a world that had thrived long before their arrival, and the crew felt a profound sense of responsibility to honor this legacy. As they continued to explore the chamber, the crew discovered a variety of artifacts, ceremonial masks, pottery, and tools that spoke of daily life and spiritual practices. Each item was imbued with meaning, reflecting the values and beliefs of the island's people. Tomas, the ship's cook, picked up a beautifully crafted bowl adorned with intricate patterns. "This is more than just a vessel. It's a piece of their history," he said, his voice filled with awe. The crew nodded in agreement, recognizing that these artifacts were not mere trinkets but rather treasures of cultural significance. The realization began to dawn on them. The true treasure they had uncovered was not gold or jewels, but knowledge and understanding. The scrolls and artifacts represented a connection to the past, a chance to learn from those who had come before them. The crew's initial excitement over material wealth shifted as they grasped the cultural and historical value of their findings. They were no longer treasure hunters in search of riches. They were custodians of a legacy that deserved to be preserved and shared. Captain de Mendoza gathered the crew, his expression serious, yet filled with pride. "What we have found here is far more valuable than any gold or silver," he said, gesturing to the scrolls and artifacts. "These items tell the story of a people who lived in harmony with the land and the cosmos. It is our duty to honor their memory and ensure that their knowledge is not lost to time." The crew listened intently, their hearts swelling with a sense of purpose. They understood that their journey had taken a profound turn, and they were now part of something much larger than themselves. As they examined the scrolls further, Lacroix began to decipher the symbols and illustrations, his excitement palpable. These writings could provide insights into their agricultural practices, their understanding of the stars, and their spiritual beliefs, he explained. "We have the opportunity to learn from their wisdom and apply it to our own lives." The crew exchanged glances, their minds racing with the possibilities that lay ahead. They were not just uncovering history, they were gaining insights that could shape their understanding of the world. The shift from material wealth to knowledge and understanding resonated deeply within the crew. They had come to Isla de Cienlaves seeking treasure, but what they found was a treasure trove of wisdom that transcended time. The scrolls and artifacts were a reminder of the importance of preserving cultural heritage and the lessons that could be learned from those who had lived in harmony with nature. As they prepared to leave the chamber, the crew made a pact to protect the knowledge they had uncovered. They would document their findings, share the stories of the island's ancient inhabitants, and ensure that the wisdom of the past would not be forgotten. The excitement of discovery was now intertwined with a sense of responsibility, and they understood that their journey was far from over. With the scrolls carefully rolled and the artifacts secured, the crew made their way back through the temple, their hearts filled with gratitude and purpose. The jaguar guardians remained watchful, their presence a reminder of the sacredness of the space they had just explored. The crew felt a deep connection to the island and its history, a bond that would guide them on their quest for knowledge and understanding. As they emerged from the temple, the sunlight bathed them in warmth, illuminating the path ahead. The jungle, once a place of uncertainty, now felt like a realm of possibility. The crew understood that they had been given a rare gift, the opportunity to learn from the past and carry that knowledge into the future. They were no longer just adventurers. They were stewards of a legacy, tasked with honoring the memory of those who had come before them. With renewed determination, the crew of the Sanctissima Esperanza set forth into the unknown, ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead. The true treasure of Isla de Cienlaves had been revealed, and they were committed to uncovering its secrets, sharing its wisdom, and ensuring that the lessons of the past would continue to resonate for generations to come. The journey was just beginning, and the mysteries of the island awaited their discovery, promising revelations that would forever change their lives. As the crew of the Sanctissima Esperanza sailed away from Isla de Cienlaves, the weight of their expedition settled upon them like a comforting blanket. The journey had been fraught with challenges, dangers, and unexpected discoveries, but it had also been a transformative experience that reshaped their understanding of the world and their place within it. As they navigated the open waters, each crew member reflected on the lessons learned throughout their adventure. recognizing the profound impact of their experiences. One of the most significant lessons was the importance of knowledge and cultural heritage. The ancient scrolls and artifacts they had uncovered in the temple had opened their eyes to the rich history of the island's original inhabitants. The crew had initially set out in search of material wealth, driven by the allure of treasure. However, they returned with something far more valuable, a deep appreciation for the wisdom of those who had come before them. The scrolls contained insights into sustainable living, celestial navigation, and the interconnectedness of all life, lessons that resonated with the crew long after they had left the island. Captain Gasp de Mendoza, who had always valued exploration and adventure, found himself reflecting on the responsibility that came with knowledge. "We have a duty to honor the legacy of the people who once thrived on that island," he said during a gathering on the deck. "Their stories and wisdom must not be forgotten. We must share what we've learned with others." The crew nodded in agreement, understanding that their journey had given them a unique perspective on the importance of preserving cultural heritage. They were no longer just sailors seeking fortune. They were ambassadors of knowledge, tasked with sharing the lessons of Isla de Cien Lavis with the world. The expedition had also fostered significant growth among the crew members. Miguel, the young cabin boy, had entered the journey with dreams of adventure and treasure, but he emerged with a newfound sense of purpose. The experiences he had faced, the jaguar attack, the discovery of the temple, and the unveiling of ancient wisdom, had transformed him from a wide-eyed boy into a thoughtful young man. He had learned the value of courage, teamwork, and respect for the past. "I never imagined that our journey would lead us to such incredible discoveries," he shared with the crew. "I feel like I've grown so much, and I want to carry these lessons with me for the rest of my life." Amina, the skilled navigator, had also experienced profound growth. Throughout the expedition, she had faced her fears and embraced the unknown, learning to trust her instincts and the wisdom of her fellow crew members. The challenges they encountered had tested her resolve, but they had also strengthened her belief in the power of collaboration. "We achieved so much together," she reflected. "I've learned that we are stronger as a team, and that knowledge is best shared. We can accomplish incredible things when we work together." Her words resonated with the crew, reminding them of the bonds they had forged during their journey. Lacroix, the ship's cartographer, had found his passion for exploration reignited. The ancient scrolls had inspired him to delve deeper into the stories of the past, and he felt a renewed sense of purpose in documenting the world around him. "This expedition has shown me that every place has a story to tell," he said, his eyes gleaming with excitement. "I want to dedicate my life to uncovering those stories and sharing them with others." The crew encouraged him, recognizing that his enthusiasm for knowledge would serve as a guiding light for future explorers. The impact of the journey on the crew's perspective was profound. They had entered Isla de Cien Lavis as treasure seekers, but they left as stewards of knowledge and cultural heritage. The lessons learned during their expedition had reshaped their understanding of what it meant to explore. They realized that true wealth lay not in material possessions, but in the connections they forged with the past and the wisdom they gained along the way. As they sailed across the open sea, the crew shared stories of their experiences, recounting the moments that had defined their journey. They spoke of the jaguar guardians, the ancient temple, and the scrolls that had revealed the island's secrets. Each story was a reminder of the lessons learned and the growth they had experienced. The camaraderie among them deepened, and they felt a sense of unity that transcended their individual backgrounds. The expedition had also instilled in them a sense of responsibility to protect the knowledge they had uncovered. They understood that the stories of Isla de Cien Lavas were not just relics of the past. They were living legacies that deserved to be honored and shared. The crew made a pact to document their findings and share the wisdom of the island with others, ensuring that the lessons learned would continue to resonate for generations to come. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the water, the crew gathered on deck, their hearts filled with gratitude. They had embarked on a journey of discovery, and what they had found was far more valuable than they had ever imagined. The lessons learned on Isla de Cien Lavas would guide them in their future endeavors, shaping their perspectives and inspiring them to seek knowledge and understanding in all aspects of life. With the wind at their backs and the promise of new adventures on the horizon, the crew of the Sanctissima Esperanza sailed onward, ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead. They were no longer just sailors. They were explorers of the human experience, committed to honoring the past and sharing the wisdom they had gained. The journey had transformed them, and they understood that the true treasure of their expedition was the knowledge and understanding they would carry with them for the rest of their lives. As the crew of the Sanctissima Esperanza sailed away from the enigmatic shores of Isla de Cien Lavas, the significance of their expedition began to crystallize in their minds. The journey had been filled with unexpected challenges, breathtaking discoveries, and profound lessons that would resonate long after they returned home. As they gathered on the deck, the crew reflected on the key takeaways from their adventure, each member eager to share their insights and the impact the expedition had on their lives. One of the most important lessons learned was the value of knowledge over material wealth. Initially, the crew had set out in search of treasure, driven by the allure of gold and jewels. However, as they delved deeper into the mysteries of the island, they discovered that the true treasures lay not in riches, but in the wisdom and cultural heritage of the ancient civilization that once thrived there. The scrolls and artifacts they uncovered told stories of a people who lived in harmony with nature, offering insights into sustainable practices and the interconnectedness of all life. This shift in perspective transformed their understanding of what it meant to be explorers. They realized that the knowledge they gained was far more valuable than any material possession, and it was a gift they were now responsible for sharing with others. Captain Gasp de Mendoza, reflecting on the journey, emphasized this point. We came seeking treasure, but what we found was a legacy of knowledge that we must honor and protect, he said, his voice steady and filled with conviction. Our experiences on Isla de Cien Lavas have shown us that true wealth lies in understanding the world around us and learning from those who came before us. The crew nodded in agreement, their hearts swelling with pride at the realization that they had become stewards of this newfound wisdom. As they sailed onward, the crew encouraged viewers to reflect on their own journeys of discovery. Each person's path is unique, filled with opportunities for growth and learning. The crew's experiences served as a reminder that exploration is not limited to distant lands. It can occur in everyday life, whether through travel, education, or personal challenges. Every journey offers the chance to gain insights and broaden one's perspective. We all have our own islands of discovery, Amina, the skilled navigator, remarked. It's essential to embrace those moments and learn from them. Each experience shapes who we are and how we view the world. The crew's reflections resonated with the viewers, inviting them to consider their own adventures. and the lessons they had learned along the way. They understood that the pursuit of knowledge and understanding is a lifelong journey, one that enriches the soul and fosters a deeper connection to the world. The expedition had not only transformed the crew, but also served as an inspiration for others to seek their own paths of discovery. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the horizon, the crew gathered for one final moment of camaraderie. They shared stories of their favorite moments from the expedition, laughing and reminiscing about the challenges they had faced and the triumphs they had achieved together. The bonds they had forged during their journey were unbreakable, and they knew that they would carry the lessons learned on Isla de Cien Lavas with them for the rest of their lives. In closing, the crew invited viewers to join them on future adventures. If you enjoyed this journey with us, we encourage you to subscribe, like, and share this video, Captain de Mendoza said, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. There are countless stories waiting to be uncovered, and we want you to be a part of our exploration. Together, we can continue to seek knowledge, embrace new experiences, and honor the legacies of those who came before us. The crew understood that their journey was just the beginning. With each new adventure, they would uncover more treasures of knowledge and understanding, and they wanted their viewers to be part of that journey. The world is vast and filled with mysteries, and they were eager to explore it together. As the Sanctissima Esperanza sailed into the sunset, the crew felt a sense of fulfillment and excitement for what lay ahead. They had learned that the true essence of exploration lies not in the pursuit of material wealth, but in the quest for knowledge and understanding. With hearts full of gratitude and a commitment to sharing their experiences, they set forth into the unknown, ready to embrace whatever adventures awaited them. In the end, the expedition to Isla de Cien Lavas had been about so much more than treasure. It had been a journey of discovery, growth, and connection. The crew emerged not only as explorers, but as ambassadors of knowledge, eager to inspire others to embark on their own journeys of discovery. They understood that every adventure holds the potential for transformation, and they were excited to continue their quest for understanding in the vast, beautiful world that lay before them.